90% of bettors lose money over time. The other 10% are on TikTok selling picks. All right, what's up, Rico Gang? Today we're gonna talk about a topic that I've covered here within the last, I'd say, year or two, and that's sports betting. Now, when I experimented with that topic, I actually seen a little success. I seen a little traction, but I don't want to get boxed into it. I'm here for everything make money online. I just want to talk to y'all about the hustles, the things that I do. So I've always watched sports betting from afar because as you know, I live in Texas. Betting, period, or gambling isn't legal here in Texas. So I've kind of watched it from afar. You know, you see the people online, you know, they pay for promo actually, and they say like, hey, I made this much selling picks, or I bought my mama house sports betting, or I seen most recently bought a new car and his homie a necklace, sports betting. And I'm not here to necessarily debate the validity of those stories. I just know that when you're paying for promo most of the time, which I've paid for promo before, you want to put your best foot forward and even exaggerate a little bit to make your headline more compelling. So I would say that. But to truly here's the downfall that I see most people have when they're trying to sports bet to make money. Like me, I'm not gonna lie. The sports betting I have done in other states, I didn't win every single time. I believe that I've came out in the positive versus the negative. And that's because I don't fall into the one trap that I see most people doing. So a lot of people gamble big, right? And not in terms of money, like as far as hundreds of thousands or whatever, but as far as what they have. So most people don't understand how sports betting works as far as money lines and the numbers and the plus minus and everything like that. So to most people, it's not worth risking just to keep it nice, round, low numbers. It's not worth risking $10 to win 5 or to win 2 or win 3. And in most cases, you're right. That's a logical statement. However, the one thing that profitable bettors do that the average everyday person that's betting doesn't do is they have what you call a bankroll. And then out of that bankroll, they sacrifice units per bets. So a lot of them are following picks, or even if they're the one providing the picks, they'll tell you, hey, Julius Randle plus 15.5 tonight, bet 2 or more units. And that pretty much means like, hey, put your money there. But a lot of the times, what I see them doing is taking safe bets, right? And saying, hey, risk 1 unit on Luka having a 40-point triple-double. And so a lot of times you think of it, well, because the unit is low, then the reward might be low. And unit pretty much is basically short or what they call amount wager, right? So if I have $100 bankroll and I personally want to do it in 10 units, that's going to be $10 a unit. So if I say, okay, I'm going to play it conservative on Luka 40-point triple-double, I put a unit down $10, you might think, well, there's not a lot to win or lose there, and you might be right. But in bets like that, if Luka does, let's say, get a 40-point triple-double and it was plus 500, so if I was to win off of that, I would win $500. And if I lost, I would only lose $10. Most people would put $50 to $75 to $100 on that bet, and if they would have won, hooray. But for the most part, as great as Luka is, a 40-point triple-double is a lot to ask on a night-in, night-out basis from any player in NBA history. Notice how I talk about the games that I bet on, because in the end, I'm going to tell you how I believe anybody can stop using picks and be a profitable bettor. So most people will do that. And then, once again, another part of it that I don't think a lot of people get or understand is then you got player props like what I just mentioned, Luka triple-double. For the most part, those are probably the most unpredictable parts, which is why they pay so well, but those are the bets that people go for. When you get into it, you start to see a pattern like, okay, boom, once again, I'm losing my money, and not only am I losing my money, I'm looking around and people are succeeding. So then you start asking yourself like, man, how do they know? And when I say how they know, I mean Vegas. To understand sports betting and why certain people win and why certain people lose, you have to understand Vegas, right? The casino, right? Casinos are designed to take money from, let's say, 19 people and let the 20th person win. You see what I mean? So casinos are built on you losing money. So when you see like these money lines or these who's favored and things like that, you have to understand what these mean. Most people don't. You have something called the point spread. You have the money line, which is who's going to win and who's going to lose. That's personally my favorite thing to go to is money line, who's going to win, who's going to lose. It's got its own set of odds. So most people do the point spread. Most people will say, okay, the Cowboys will win by at least 12. And a lot of the times you'll start to see 12 and a half, right? So that means if they get 12, they lose, because in football, and honestly, can't think of many sports where you can score a half point. You'll start to see those, and those get a lot of people. I personally don't understand why, because for me, when I see a 12 and a half or 11 and a half, I just round it up. So if I see a 12 and a half, my brain says, okay, they got to win by 13 or more. You know what I mean? But that trips a lot of people up. And so that leads me right into the second biggest thing that I see people do. Second biggest thing that I see people do is they bet on parlays, right? So what a parlay is literally just a combination of bets. So it's simple mathematics come into play. So let's say you're like me and you're a money line guy. You're going to go Cowboys money line, and let's say NBA and NFL is playing that day. Cowboys money line, Bulls money line, Lakers by 10, Boston by 7.5. Each one of those games have their own odds. And when you multiply them by each other, the odds get greater and greater and greater. And that plus sign goes up, and that number behind it is going to go up. So when that number behind the plus sign goes up, that's when you know you got a chance to win some money, right? So you see a lot of times even where you might know somebody who finally popped, and they going to post their ticket, and they're like, oh, I just popped them again, and they bet $50 and win $5,500. That's why, because the odds are multiplied against each other, making the odds lesser. And when the odds are lesser, Vegas is paying more because they're betting against it to happen. So here's the problem with that. Out of all those games I listed, the Mavericks can cover. The Mavericks can win money line. Boom, you win there. The Lakers, I believe I said second, can cover by however many they were supposed to. But if the Bulls don't do what they're supposed to, boom, bet gone. And so whether they admit it or not, the people who sell picks, any consistent gambler has lost more than or just as much as they've won. And even a 50-50 split is pretty high. Like, you do realize that if you beat Vegas too many times, they will kick you out of the casino. They will kick you off of a sports book. So when you see people walking around saying that, oh, like or people selling picks or walking around like they've just made all this money out of the casino, bro, or all this money out of sports betting, I'm not here to say if they're lying or if they're telling the truth. I just want you to take the facts and use your common sense. So that leads me into how I think you can be a profitable sports bettor. That's pretty simple, honestly. It is. Once again, I told you, notice what I talk about when I talk about sports betting. I think the best way to be a profitable sports bettor is to know the sport that you're betting on. I made the mistake of putting in baseball picks from somebody who did picks, and you know what was crazy is that I'm looking around and there was a chat where all of us who followed his picks were chatting, and I'm like, damn, like he's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like he's supposed to know what he's talking about. And then he posted something kind of apologizing to everybody, like, oh, it's been a rough week for me. I'm 2 out of 7 so far on the week. And I remember thinking like, man, I could be 2 out of 7 on my own, bro. And so that's when I stopped taking picks and stopped betting on sports I knew nothing about. I know about baseball. I know how to play baseball. I know the rules. I know the teams. But I can't tell you right now who's a better team than who. I can't tell you who the best player in baseball is. The last time I could, it was maybe Mike Trout or is that bro from the Angels? Mike Trout? The Angels had a guy too. I think he was 99. But either way, as you can see, I don't really know that sport. However, basketball, NBA, I could tell you who's the best player in the NBA. I can tell you which team is better than which. I can tell you, even if like I had a bet one time that came up under my sports book when I was out of town, and it was like Kyrie Irving 2.5 threes, and it was like plus 250 or plus 300 or something. So pretty much all I had to bet was $10 to win 300 some dollars. So I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going in and I'm about to like bet like $75 because at this point it is not far fetched for Kyrie to make three pointers in a game. Like, even though Kyrie has a new role on the Mavs, he ain't as trigger happy. I know that these type of games that they were in, Kyrie needed to have big offensive games in order for the Mavs to have a chance to win these games, which I felt like the Mavs were going to win, and they did. And so that played out for me because I know the sport, right? Even if I would have lost, it wouldn't have been a bad deal because it's not far fetched. It would have sucked, and I would have been mad at Kyrie, but it worked out because once again, I know that he needs to be in attack mode for these series, this set of games, if the Mavericks are going to win. So I would do, that's I would take bets like that, but I would mostly, skim through the playoffs, right? If you know basketball, skim through the playoffs. And I think that you would have won a lot of money on the money line, even if you were in the negative, because boom, what negative means is minus 153 mean this team is the favorite, right? They're favored. And the higher that number is, that's the higher amount that Vegas don't think that this team is going to be beat by this other team. Even if it's 150, 200, meaning I got to bet $200 pretty much to win 100. If I just bet $10, $20 and only get back, $6 or $7, it was worth it. And I increased my capital. I got more money. You know what I'm saying? That money, think of it, is just sitting there anyway. So taking safe bets is how there's profitable sports bettors today. Football. I know who the best player in football is. I, not as good as basketball, but feel like, okay, I know who's going to win and who's going to lose. I know that football is any given Sunday sport, so you got to take those bets with a grain of salt too. But either way, knowing the sport that you're talking about, knowing the sport that you're betting on goes a long way. And let's say you're somebody who don't know sports. Pick one that you want to bet on and watch it and learn it, and you'll see who the better team is. You'll see who's likely to do what, and you'll see if you should be betting on this or not. So, man, once again, thank y'all for listening. It's your boy Rico Gang. I love y'all. Let's get it.